What's the wildest place you've been in the world gambling? Or just the wildest place in general?
I've gambled all over the world. You want to know what actually the most interesting one was?
Mm-hmm.
In the Bowery, Chinatown, in Manhattan. I was walking through the street with a group of friends. We were just on vacation in New York, right? We went from Vegas to New York just to party. We're walking through the Bowery, and there's a park. And the park has like, I'm not even kidding, 100 Asian people crowding like 2 cement picnic tables in the middle of the park.
Yeah. I know what park you're talking about.
Okay, so one of my buddies, a little bit speaks kind of Mandarin. He spent a lot of time in Asia, just like in Asia in the culture. So he like sort of understands a little. So I go, what's over there? And he goes, let's find out, right? So we go over there and he's listening and he's trying to communicate, but he doesn't really speak the language. He can only figure out that they're gambling. And I'm trying to tell him, ask them what they're playing. Like, what are they doing? And he can't figure it out. So one of my old poker partners is fully bilingual. He's from China, right? I get him on FaceTime and I go, yo, Pat, I'm going to hand the phone to this guy. He looks like a ringleader of a gambling ring over here. Talk to him. Tell him I want to play. I just want to know what we're playing. I hand the phone over. I don't know what was said. I don't speak the language, right? 30 seconds into the call, hands the phone back. He says something in the language. They all scattered like ants. Like you just lifted up a rock and all the bugs went crazy. Long story short, they must have something my buddy said must have
bad luck.
I don't know. It was bad. I don't know what. And they were spooked and they were like, we're out, you know? And it was just, and we got some of it on camera because we were just enamored with what was happening. We just were like, what's going on, you know? And
this guy was like, hey, this Puerto Rican guy wants to play with you.
Yeah, exactly. You know, exactly. And that was probably the most like interesting, like excursion in that regard. But it wasn't that exotic. We were in New York City,
fascinating,
you know?
though. Yeah. That's fascinating. I mean, Chinatown, especially back in the day, you know, through the 80s, there were all these gambling dens dotted throughout Chinatown, run by like the Chinese mafia.
You know, I actually have another one. If you want to hear another story?
Yeah.
This is also New York, actually. I get invited by a rapper who I know from Vegas. This is such a coincidence. He goes, are you in New York? I go, I am in New York. You know, what are the odds? This is like years separate. I go, I am in New York. And he goes, I've been invited on a yacht. We're doing high stakes gambling. The yacht is being controlled by the leaders of every black gang in all the boroughs of New York. Can I pay you to come? I go, yeah. I go, this sounds fun.
I can be bought.
Yeah. I go, this sounds fun.
Who's a rapper? Can you name?
No, I don't want to name him.
Okay.
No. It was a very.
Would we know him?
Probably.
Dre.
But it was a very like non-above board environment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's why I don't want to say a name.
Yeah.
So we meet at the dock. It's in Brooklyn. It's like, I forget. It's like, I don't know, like 2nd Street. I'm making that part up. I don't even remember the name of the street. Anyways, wherever the boats are. And we go, and it was crazy because there was hundreds. I have a video of it. And if you look on my TikTok, I actually have a video of me on this ship, but very like, you can't see anybody's face. You don't know what's going on basically, except for me. Right?
Yeah.
If you look, you'll see from start to finish, hundreds of the top ranking gangbangers in all the boroughs of New York are standing on the dock, and the captain of the ship, who now is confronted with what's actually about to happen on his ship, is like, I don't want you guys on here, right?
Right.
But because everybody was so potentially violent, not one person got out of line. There was hundreds of us.
Right.
And everybody was getting a little testy. Everybody was kind of drinking a little. We were getting ready for the party. Not one person spoke out of line, shoved. Everything was like, excuse me, pardon me. Right? It was, I've never
like
seen
being in jail. You know, everybody's like, are you using this? Because nobody wants to, it's so sensitive.
It would go off. Yeah, it's so sensitive. It would go off.
Yeah.
And this was like this, it was so intense, this environment. You could cut the tension in the air, but everybody, just like in jail. Pardon me, excuse me, sorry. We're all waiting together. The guy lets us on the boat. I don't know whatever transpired. We get on the boat and we start gambling. And the ship, it's a pretty big ship, leaves from Brooklyn. We go around the Statue of Liberty. I'm like so close. It's the closest I've ever been to the Statue of Liberty in my life. And I lived in New York, right? Yeah. I'm like right there. I'm like filming it from the bow of the boat.
What are they playing? You guys rolling dice?
Everything.
Yeah.
They had every game in there, right?
Wow.
And so what I came to realize was the Chinese gangs, right? I don't know the name or like who or like this. They partnered with the heads of all the black gangs in all the boroughs in New York. And together they said, the Chinese go, we will financially bankroll it. You bring the players, you're everything else. You're the marketing, the security, the whatever, right? So, and then the Asians put up the money. So it was every top high-ranking gang leader in all of the boroughs on this boat, right? Plus the entourage and then lots of women.
Right.
And me. And we're playing, and the boat comes back to the dock, and all of us are still like mid gamble. It was only a few hours, right? So we're thinking like, there's so much money on this table. We all want to gamble. So one of the Chinese guys comes over and starts whispering to a couple people, and I was one of them. And he goes, "Give me a number I can send a location to." He doesn't really say much else. I see him go to me, go to like another guy that looked like a leader of something, said it to him. I'm watching. I go, screw it, right? I gave him somebody's number that I was with. I go, I don't know what, sends a location. I pull up to the location. I think we were still in Brooklyn. We went underground, a building he owns, and it was an illegal gambling den underneath that the Asian gangs run.
Wow.
And it was actually the first time I ever seen the Fish Game in person. You know what the Fish Game is? It's so stupid. It's it looks like a giant like multi-person Pac-Man machine. Like, there's a big square, the flat.
Yeah.
Like a multi-purpose video game, like an arcade game.
Yeah.
And the screen is flat and you can stand on all the sides with your button and your lever.
Yes.
It's like that, but for gambling. It's basically you're gambling on Pac-Man, but instead they're fish swimming across and you're trying to shoot the fish. Every time you shoot a fish, like coins come out, but every bullet costs you X amount of money.
Wow.
Stupid. But
that's wild though.
Yeah.
That they have that.
Yeah.
Like they have, they're sophisticated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they have that. They're making money out of it. And that's in modern times. This is in modern times when gambling is essentially legal.
Yeah.
People still want to go play in that environment. There's still a market for that.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. So when you're on the boat, tons of cash.
You go watch the video. It's on my TikTok. I filmed the boat, but I didn't film the gambling den under the building.